Yo, it's good. It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. I want to talk about why Monty Williams playing hardball with Jaden Ivey is probably the best thing for the Detroit Pistons and will save them in the long run. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Look, I've been following this situation for a while, and I think for those of you who have been with me from the beginning of this season and you saw some of my early videos, you understand that I've been just as hard on Jaden Ivey. When you are a guard in the NBA, you must be consistent and you must be efficient. The reason why is because you set the table generally for everyone else. When you are the primary individual handling the ball, your ability to understand what the team is trying to accomplish each time down the court is what allows everyone within the team to maximize their abilities to try to execute the game plan in order to beat the opposing team. And the accumulation of that over the course of a season is what gets you into the playoffs and an opportunity to win an NBA championship. Now, here's the thing. If that guard, who it doesn't matter how talented he is, if that guard is unable to do that, to be consistent and efficient, then the team is doomed as a result. Think about some of the players that Jaden Ivey has been closest to being compared to. Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, I would probably say, is the closest comparison to him. I had also compared him to Russell Westbrook in terms of just his point guard style of play, right? Highly turnover prone, not always good at gauging his speed or space, suspect ball handling, especially early in Westbrook's career, and kind of better served as an attack guard left off the ball early in his career. But here's the thing. Zach LaVine, the closest comparison, is a great example of what could happen if you don't have accountability. If you don't have somebody telling him, you must be consistent and efficient before we invest wholeheartedly into you being the leader of our team. When you don't have that, you end up with a player that you're building around who essentially stalls out the long-term success of your team. You see, Jaden Ivey is just talented enough to force the hand of any organization to have to invest in him, especially when he comes out of his rookie deal. And as a result, when you invest the amount of money that he's going to be worth being paid just because of his talent alone, you begin to somewhat hamstring the team in terms of their finances to be able to bring in other talent, because you are banking on his talent, making up for the lack of talent in other areas or with other players. Now, when that person that you're investing in and betting on cannot be consistent or reliable to be efficient on the court, meaning on both ends of the court, knowing what the team is doing and able to execute it at a high level, then your long-term winning outlook could become stalled. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that Jaden Ivey can't learn these things. I'm not saying that Jaden Ivey can't pick up the tools and the skills and the level of requisite focus to be able to be a consistent high-level guard in the NBA. But if he is going to become that, they must demand that of him now. Because the reality is Killian Hayes has one of the highest assist-to-turnover ratios in the NBA. He may not score at the same level of a Jaden Ivey. That's fine. But if he gives me half of Jaden Ivey's scoring, but he gives me 10 times more consistency with the ball in his hand, especially when Cade Cunningham, your franchise player, is struggling with his efficiency and his ability to keep from turning the ball over, then what you end up having is somebody who's more valuable to the team than a Jaden Ivey is. Now when you throw in Marcus Sasser's ability to handle the ball with strength and consistency, his ability to execute and be efficient on both ends of the court, adds an even more competition. And this is where strong leadership within the coaching ranks becomes essential. You have to have somebody who can deliver a clear message to your young, talented players and say, this is the expectation. This is the line drawn in the sand. If you cannot keep your turnovers down, if you cannot execute on offense and defense what we are trying to accomplish, then you will not get the minutes. And if there's another player on this team who can, they will get the minutes. Now, some people are like, hey, this is not fair. They shouldn't do this. Hey, what's not fair? I've seen Baron Davis, a far better player than Jaden Ivey, have to sit and come off the bench for most of his rookie season, right? Chris Paul had to sit and wait, right? There's plenty of talented players who've had to wait their turn. Shoot, Kobe Bryant had to wait behind Eddie Jones. Why are we acting like it's some great sin to have a young, talented player have to wait and learn and figure it out before he gets trusted with major minutes? Now, some of you may say, well, hey, those have been in more of a winning situation. Well, what do you think Monty Williams was brought in here to do? To create a winning situation. And that means there has to be a level of accountability from day one with these players. Look, let's be clear. Jaden Ivey knows full well what is expected of him. He knows exactly why he's not starting and why he's coming off the bench and why he is going to start and not come off the bench. He understands this. People act like, oh, well, they made a big deal out of not being told he wasn't going to start for that game. It doesn't matter. He knew why. Because you haven't been performing in practice or the games beforehand that instilled the level of confidence in your head coach to go ahead and start you. And you know what? There's other guys who have. I'm not mad at it. Let's be clear. Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey got drafted around the same position, if not the same exact position. So if Killian Hayes figures it out in year 4, right, and begins to put it all together and looks better than Jaden Ivey, I'm not mad. Play Killian Hayes. Shoot, if it takes Jaden Ivey 2 more years to figure it out, you still have him under contract obligation and the ability to match whatever offer is made to him through his restricted free agency. You're still sitting in a great position for the Detroit Pistons. But what you can't do, what I would highly recommend you do not do, is fail to give him the accountability that forces his hand to grow and develop as a player between the ears, within his understanding of how this game is played at this level. Maybe at college, maybe internationally somewhere he can go out and get away with some of the things that he's struggling with. I doubt it, especially in the EuroLeague, because they don't play that. It doesn't matter how athletic you are. If you can't play between the ears and understand the game, you will not see the court, because head coaches have even more autonomy out there. But it's to say that at the NBA level, what it takes to win there is an extremely high level of play, especially from a guard. And if he can't figure it out, it's better to find that out now and move on from him than it is to invest in him and stall out your entire future, a la the Chicago Bulls. But as always, I want to know what you all think of this situation. Do you think it's this hardball that head coach Monty Williams is playing with Jaden Ivey is too much? Do you think it's over the top? Or do you think it's benefiting? Holla at me in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications, and I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.